We're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the rating show here on the Blue Abroad YouTube channel on this Monday, the 28th of April, 2025. Guys, we're here after round 7 and after the Blues beat the Cats. We're less than 24 hours post-win. This is rare, but we are here for Monday Madness here on the channel, and we start with the ratings with Pommy. Mate, hello.
Hey, how are we all doing? Oh, we're all diddling well. Good weekend this weekend if you were a sports fan. Blues win. United get a last-minute draw. Chris Eubank does his family name proud. Everything's good. So, here.
Yeah. The stars aligned. Everything fell back into place just for a day.
Hey, hopefully longer than that.
Well, yeah, hopefully longer than that. It is definitely a week-by-week proposition now. We looked like we're back. The question will be, and I think we might get some answers in this show. We'll go through all the ratings and then try and get a picture on whether or not this is sustainable and whether or not the Blues have found something.
Well, I mean, that's what I aim to uncover. Lots to unpack this week. They may be watching the show because there's been some developments, chat. There's some developments, old twinging. There is.
Ooh, there is. High level, anything we should be looking out for tonight with the ratings?
Yeah, so I want you to think of the first 4 weeks when we were bad and the things that we were talking about, things like ignoring the pressure, making sure players were playing in their one wood, giving them the best chance. I want you to think about how we talked about how that midfield cohesion sometimes falls off and we don't get that kind of goodness, not maximising that. And I also want you to think about all the things we said about Nick Haynes, rounds 1 to 3, and then all the praise we gave them 4, 5, and really, really focusing on that because Nick Haynes is probably showing his coup de grace at the minute. We like a bit of Hainesy.
Yep, we do. So that's that. Obviously, top of the show, and we will cover this as well during the Blue Abroad show. But the Buzz, Mr. Peter Buzzusto, sadly passed away yesterday at the age of 96, I believe he was. So obviously want to send some condolences to the Buzzusto family and the Carlton community. And I guess there's quite a few of you who watch this show that watched him play. But we will do a proper tribute in the Blue Abroad show. But I did want to just mention that. And also want to welcome anybody who is new to the channel and who is new to the ratings. Actually, if you are 67, sorry, not 96, sorry, 67. Anybody who is new to the rating show, please make yourselves known. I'd like to know if we have anyone who's not been here before. If you are a returning viewer of the rating show, please send the link to someone, invite a friend, get them involved, because I really do learn a lot from this Pommy every time. There's something about going through player by player. It's now become part of the routine in unpacking every game. So thank you, mate.
Hey, mate. Hey, you don't have to thank me. I'm just one man. And obviously condolences to Brooke and the Buzzusto family as well. 96 to 67, Terry.
Sorry.
We can see one of us is the maths guy.
Yeah, I'm definitely not the maths guy.
I did think when you said it, I was like, he's not that fucking old, is he? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So we will do this show in honor of him. Sonny, you are new. You are new to the rating show. Okay. Welcome. Great to have you here. Absolute
Is he?
Pleasure.
So, Sonny, you've been around in many guises for years, bro. But okay, I'll take your word. Debutant.
Yeah.
Debutant?
Debutant. Fresh viewer.
Yeah, because you guys say it weirdly, don't you? You use the A in debut. You go debut.
Oh, yeah. Debut.
And it's debut.
Is it?
Wait, I mean, it depends what you want to argue. I mean, do you know what I mean? Pom, English language, debut. I made my debut yesterday.
Oh,
Because you don't call it a debutante. You call it a debutante, don't you? You don't call it a debutante.
No, that's true.
It's all right. Here we are. All right. I'll sort you out.
Okay. You did create the language, so.
But I also bastardize it as well. So don't believe it.
All right. So what we're going to do, guys, player by player, we'll go through, have a look at each player and their role, their heat map, some of their key statistics, J-baggers.
Can I just say, I haven't pissed myself in the comments as much as I had fun with Gav.
Oh man!
Like honestly, that was cooked, and it was the fact. What made it funny is Paul didn't even know it was happening, so I was having way too much fun.
Yeah, no, it was a. I guess that's what happens on live television. You know, you just expect the unexpected.
Honestly, I put the comment, which I thought was my finest work, was like Paul's literally sending this clip to his as his Tinder in it. He's just like added 4 decibels to his voice. Like all the chicks think he's got like this husky dulcet tone.
Getting him to sing, can't get enough. You're up. Like, I didn't think he'd bite, but he did. It was great.
Does he know? Has like we are mates with Paul? Has anyone rang him and said, mate?
I actually spoke to him after. He called me after the fan cam. Someone had played with something in the settings, and he actually said, "Lucky we picked up on it because he would have gone to air overnight."
Oh, I'm so disappointed in me and Gavin taking the piss, because that would have been even funnier if he'd done that for 7 hours.
Yeah. So anyway,
there's always a backfire from banter.
Yep. All right, guys, let's get cracking. I'm very excited to get stuck into this. We are going to start as we have pretty much all here, and that is with Mr. Jack Silvani. Wow, mate.
Number
Talk
one
to me about Jack.
Number one, you're not allowed to diss this guy. I mean, this guy here has been sensational. Look, I'm a firm believer, right? When you get something right, you've also got to say you're wrong. I was against, full caveat, I was against Jack going down the back. And honestly, I couldn't love this guy anymore. Like, I've gone full circle. Number one to being the number one, don't like it, to the number one fan of it. I am absolutely in love with it. What a game. We talked about it in the preview that the matchup, in my opinion, should have been Wheater in 3, Jack following him. And Jack was the one who followed Jeremy when he goes on that little mazy run out of 60. And he absolutely battered him. It has to be fair. The only knock on him, I can't believe he did the old cheeky jumper punch and broke his hand. That's the only knock. Because, do you know what I mean? Can't do it.
I didn't realize he did it in the first quarter. It wasn't until I watched the replay. Like, so he's played the whole game with it, and it seems like it was this one, like on the edge of the hand. So
yeah, it's hard to do. It's hard to do. I mean, I've punched both of my brothers many times. Never broke my hand punching them. But fair play to him, because Riley Thilthorpe did a very similar injury 2 days before. And Thilthorpe went acted like a live grenade had gone off in his hand. So fair play, but quality game. He's dependable, reliable. And what is really good is you actually found Jeremy Cameron kind of reacting to where Jack was towards the middle portion of the game, which is really fascinating, that Jack's starting to get a little bit of charisma. And shout out SEN as well. We did it on the Footy Abroad about Jack is the top player to have been in elite one-on-ones. Starting to get his kudos, his old Jackie boy.
Sure is. So AFL rating of 17. His actual
Can I just give a shout
here,
out to JS, who actually called it to the decimal place. Great work.
Oh. Look at that. Bang. 8.1.
Look at him.
Love that.
Look at him. Get him in.
Oh, well done. 8.1. So he looks
the injury, for those who are asking, it's 1 to 2 weeks. But I wouldn't be surprised. Jack is a man, a big, big, hunking, great oaf of a bloke. I wouldn't be surprised to see him take the old paracetamol, ibuprofen, and actually make it this week. I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked either. And I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, at worst, 1 week, because he played the entire game with it. But I guess the more you play, I don't know. I mean, surgery to fix it. Well, I mean, I've never broken a knuckle before, so I can't really comment.
I do
I
believe
don't
he's
know.
got to have surgery, so that might be the thing. Because someone asked about a plaster cast. I think that'd be quality. Can you imagine a plaster cast? Have you ever punched anyone with a plaster cast? It's quality.
No, I haven't.
But, it could be good, but no, it was good. And fair credit to him, because I did make a bit of banter with Tom Stewart when he did his injury, and it's turned out that he's really stretched his calf, because I was like, Anzacs, come on, it's the Anzac week, and they stormed Japanese machine gun nests with 2 bullets in their Lee Enfield and took one in the chest. You can play. Jack proved that. Do you know what I mean? Broken hand that needs a wrist.
Well,
Anzac spirit there.
if he's to miss this week, is it a Lewis Young?
Oh dear. It's
Is it
tough, isn't it?
Cowan?
I mean, from the VFL, Cowan played quite centrally, so it could be one of them cases of Mitch McGovern returns to centre halfback, or Nick Haynes, whichever he wants to do, and he brings in Cowan. Doc played halfback, so is that going to be one of them things? You just don't know, do you? You don't know.
All right. Well, it's a watch this space. So 8.1
Stop.
for Jack. Then we
Right.
get to Jacob Wiedering. A bit more deep on this heat map.
Yeah, so as we said, one took Mr. Cameron, and t'other bloke was kind of that loiterer. And this is going to be a really interesting one because, ironically, Jack Silvani versus Tex would make sense, because Tex is basically Jeremy Cameron on steroids.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'd probably give this guy, should Thilthorpe recover from the explosive that went off in his hand, you give him. So this was interesting, though. Funny enough, actually lost one-on-ones this week, only went at 50%, so that's as rare as rocking horse poo. But that was partly because he was the deep guy. He was the guy literally taking all the mortar fire. And what you do see from Wiedering is what you always see. His distribution was elite. Look at that, double the amount of disposals before he made a mistake than an elite key defender. And this is why I keep saying I really want a way to free this guy up and let him penetrate and be dangerous. Because when he uses the ball, this guy doesn't make any issues at all. And considering he was evidently, according to Twitter, he was meant to be pulled out of the game. Tossing Dangerfield like the bin bag he is was pretty nice to see.
I have to go back and watch the watch along. What was your reaction in that moment? That's an iconic moment.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably get into trouble. I think I said, that's it, fucking kill him. Happens quite a lot. It happens quite a lot when Carlton fans get into a fight. Pom's there like, kill him!
Oh, dear. So, Wiedering, a 7.5. And I reckon Nicholas De Felice got it right. Look at that.
Animal.
Hey, the chat's getting smarter and smarter about this. They're adjusting.
Hey, they're a clever chat.
Mate, they're actually a little bit like Carlton. Took a few weeks to adjust. They were awfully off the first month with the ratings, and now they're starting to pick it up.
Hey, smart cookies. Hey, I can retire soon. That'll be nice.
Yeah. Josh Dolan, hey, Tez and Pomp, go and have a look at J-Sauce versus Sauce games played in the first 9 years. Very similar. Sauce played his most consistent from this point on.
He's Phil. To be fair, I reckon you could probably play Jack anywhere, in my opinion. Like, he seems to be that type of guy.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Wiedering, I mean, the other thing about Wiedering as well, he was clearly sore and hindered and just found a way. That's a championship mentality.
That one-on-one with Dangerfield is probably my favourite fucking thing I've ever seen there, because like, it was just a calamity. That was like, he was never winning. That was Danger, and he was trying so hard. And then it was the way he absolutely milked being tossed aside as well. Like, there was nothing left. Quality.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right. 7.5 for Wieders. Then we get to Adam Sard. Oh, man. It's happening, isn't it?
Yeah, so a guy who in the last 2 weeks, after we've been asking for a long time to have no defensive responsibility, got no defensive responsibility. And again, shout out Matty C for this one. Matty C is the man, the protector, the Ayatollah here, and he's really strong. Big difference with Saad, though, this game is we didn't quite see that massive transitional part of his game this week. He was just the solid rock. So real solid game from him. And as you can see, pretty much baseline stats of everyone who plays this position with a slight improvement.
Yeah, no, I definitely noticed him pushing up to stoppage from all the most of the centre bounces that I saw. I still think this needs some time though. Don't you?
I think a lot of the roles need a bit of time, and we're just waiting for, like, not the payout per se, but just the application to improve.
Right.
We burn Saad a lot as well. Like, if you actually go back and watch, particularly the third quarter, this guy makes like gut runs, and we absolutely burn him. So that's also has to come into play as well. I feel like we don't look for him as much as we maybe should do.
Yeah. All right. Well, Sardi gets a 6.5 for his game. As we get to the man you mentioned, Matty Carroll. So just explain, let me just play with his heat map. Oh, wait. Okay, never mind. Talk to me about Matt Carroll's role.
Yeah, so the heat map that you've just seen of Saad was like the red encompassed half of this. And you can see the blue is the darker yellow is deep behind. So he really protects him from that left back pocket. And what I really like about this is you can see the synergy in both of these players. The meters gains was down by Saad, but the 1%ers were incredibly high. He was just trying to stifle that ball. When the ball was taken, invariably it was this gentleman who was putting the pressure on and bodying and locking down. Few errors this week in his beautiful kicking action, which we've got to talk about. He made them, but full credit to him. The boys structured up well, and it wasn't so bad. I like it, though, because you actually look at what he was trying to do. They were the kind of kicks that will probably pay you back should he hit them. So I hope he doesn't get too told off for that, in my opinion, because they are the things that win your games. And it was good to see him still try it. Even in the fourth quarter, he still tried to bite that kick off. And as you'll know more than me, Terry, the great Nash always says about Curry, the great thing about Steph Curry is he can miss 8 3-pointers, but he takes the 9th. He has that bravery.
Yeah. I was mindful of getting too excited with this fella and Will White because I thought, all right, let's just see how they go against the Cats. The characteristic around Matt Carroll that I've enjoyed the most is something you sort of just touched on there. It's his ability to have the memory of a goldfish. And yeah, he did make a few errors, particularly in that second quarter, but it's not through a lack of trying. And the reality is we've just got to allow him to learn. So right now it seems like even in the comments, even in the fan base, there seems to be this understanding of that with him, which I think is great. And I just hope he continues to show that strong mentality of, okay, he's going to fuck up from time to time, but he had some really critical moments and critical contests, particularly in the second half, which, you know, for me, watching it, especially when I was at the ground, it just seemed beyond his years.
Look, I mean, he's a Sandringham Dragons boy, so these guys are built different. Like, if you want a role player, get one of them, and he's executing like we saw in the juniors. Just very reliable, does his job, doesn't worry about it. That's what he needs to do. Solid game from Matt. I really like this.
Yeah. Big fan. Sonny, the not so new viewer of the show. Spot on. All right. McGovern. Is Mitch back? It's 3 in a row.
Yeah, so we talked about it the last couple of weeks. Voss has really, really focused on trying to separate him and Haynes, give them a little bit of freedom, get them out of each other's way. And this week we actually saw something slightly different. They did that, but now they've got that understanding to stay separate. Voss starting to change the matchups. We saw McGovern and Haynes switch roles multiple times, particularly in the third quarter, on their matchups as they tried to change something and give them something to worry about. The big improvement there is Nick Haynes is incredible below his feet, probably Mitch McGovern's weak area, but both of them are strong aerially. And you saw this here. Carlton got really high up the ground, real high up the ground. And he was really strong, particularly with the meters gained. He got Carlton back into the offensive phase very, very quick. So this was a good effort. This was a real good effort. And he's got a bit of confidence in him, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's moving with force, moving with some serious force. And I mean, I'll wait until we see the midfielders heat maps and the forwards as well, because I remember last week we did a really good job of getting that ball into the forward half and locking it into the forward half. And a lot of the rhetoric coming back was, oh, okay, we'll see how you do that against Geelong. But so far, so good with these defenders and these halfbacks in particular.
Very strong. Yeah, very strong. Both of them very strong. And this is what you want. What you want. And I do think Matt Carroll is a huge application here, because they aren't as tall when Cowan's there. So it's going to be interesting when Cow comes back into the team, or if he should. Is it for one of these types of roles, or is it for like an attacking halfback role, which he was originally drafted for? It's going to be interesting. A lot of issues there. Suddenly there's a bit of depth.
Suddenly there is a bit of depth. 7.7 for Mr. McGovern. I like it. Thought he was bloody fantastic. Then I'll just get you to upload number 22. I don't see it here, but Mr. Nick Haynes. I've got theories on this game as well, which I'm sure you're going to hate. But Mr. Nick Haynes, let's chat about the break. It's the breakout game, no? The legacy game.
It is, yeah. So he started on the right side, as you can see, a real big, fat, yellow thing, and then shifted over to the left side when they got back in the game. There was a passage of play in the fourth quarter, which really did turn me on, where they were actually working on the same side. Jesus went fullback, and they tried to obviously protect that hand a bit. And I was like, are they going to get in each other's way? And they did incredibly well. Obviously, they've learned through this 4, 5, 6 game block of playing together what they do. And what is really important here is his ground ball gets. You see the maturity in him. His intercept possessions double what we'd expect from this position. He's 1%ers as well. We'll talk about it a bit later, but as well, really high as well, doing them little new age type things, real strong. And you saw in this game, I thought, why he's the prototype of what everyone plays like now. He came back. I thought he outshined Tom Stewart by a long way as well, who probably is the modern day Nick Haynes. Real strong game, and bit of synergy there between Mitch and Nick now, which going to be interesting when they add an extra one in this week. We've no Jack. Should Jack miss? Because this has been a real delight how these four have worked together.
Does your system here take into account spoils for defenders?
Yeah.
Does it give it a stat? How does it work that?
It does. So that's one of the key defensive metrics. So with all the stats, the key defensive metrics get a little bit of a boost against it. So he was very strong in that avenue. So they are a big part of it. That's why, if you remember last year, the system hasn't changed a mass amount, but this time last year, we used to give Lewis quite a bit of praise because he was a spoil first, mark later type guy.
How many spoils did he have? Do you have that stat there?
I can bring it up. Where are we?
What I'm seeing here is 20 touches, 400 meters gained, 13 marks, 8 of them being intercept marks. So I wanted to just round it out.
Filth. Okay, here we are. Nicholas Haynes, number 26, 26th column. So what spoils you want?
Yeah.
7.
7 spoils. Yeah. I think I remember the first 5. Like, he was just everywhere early in the game. I was so impressed with him. And yet again, put my hand up. It's the week to put the hand up. I did not know what was happening with him in the first month, but who would have thought a bit of patience and a little bit of time to settle into a new club was all he needed.
Well, you've got to give Voss credit. Like we always say this. You've got to give Voss credit in the terms of that he separated them, put them the opposite flank, opposite pockets. And it's really allowed Nick to embrace that role a little bit. And you can see by the end, in the fourth quarter, I would say he was arguably our best player.
Yeah. Well, Patrick here, I'm telling you, man. So let me just like make the case for the hair, okay? So he's come to the club. you know, it's part of the evolution of the identity. Like he's got the hairstyle of what he had at the Giants, a little bit long. Then he cut it a little bit short, but it's still kind of long, as you can see this photo. He's found his length. He's found his texture. He's got the Carlton look now. He looks different. He looks like he hasn't looked before. And you look good, you feel good, you play good. I'm just saying, man, there's something in it. I promise you.
Well, I'd never argue with you, Terry. So, I mean, look, he's changed his hairstyle. He's playing career best football. There it is. I mean, no more evidence needed, Your Honour.
Yeah, it's the vibe.
Mate. He's playing comfortably.
Yeah, 8.2. Rocco, I have absolutely lost it. I have 100% lost it. To be fair,
I will remind this chat that when Chera was playing some absolute bollocks football last year, Terry was the one who said that he'd got a melt hairstyle. And look, he's changed his hair. And would we not agree? Chera's playing career football.
And Sam Walsh, he's got a little bit more length on the top, on this. I'm telling you, it just has to look.
Look, I'm backing you in here, Terry. You did say Chera's hairstyle was fucking crap, and he played crap, and he's got a normal hairstyle now, and he's banging them out. So might be onto something, mate. You might be onto something.
So an 8.2 for Nick Haynes. As we move over to Cripps, I don't even need to know what his stats are, but when his heat map looks like that, I know that things are good.
Yes, but you know what is strong about Cripps is we gave him so much kudos last week, and I think some people in the chat misinterpreted because I went back and saw your comments. Right, I'm not saying he shouldn't play inside midfield, right? And this game will prove what I said last week spot on. Tommy Atkin is everything about their midfield. And when Cripps isn't where Hewitt is, which is so easy to defend, when you're behind the ball, you've got the ruckman can get in your way. You've got this Tagger or Tom Atkins can just go defensive side and you are stuck. He was playing more the second, third role, the role we usually attribute to Walsh. And you can see, very similar to Walsh's heat maps last year, where there's like a yellow gazing out to the left wing. So you found this was quite often the second possession out of stoppage. Hewitt would win it, bang to Cripps, and it dragged Atkin out of the furnace, which then gave them a very undersized outnumber. This is king to Cripps' game because when Cripps did go back to the Hewitt role, he took the piss. He destroyed them. But in this role here, he's almost dragging one out of the contest. And this is really, really strong. So I'm really, really, really impressed with Cripps. This is a real strong. This is where you want him. You don't want him under fire. You want him just lurking. And that's something that Bont does incredibly well at Doggies because he lurks and he's not always the guy. They have him in and around the contest. Makes it very hard to match up on. And Atkin was useless this weekend.
Yeah. Well, the timing of his game, I thought, is what stood out to me. So he started well and set the tone and then took a bit of a backseat. And then when the heat turned up, particularly in that fourth, he lifted. And I think we might have used this example last year. I don't know if it was against Geelong. I don't remember exactly when it was, but it reminded me of Joel Selwood and just timing when to get in there and when to impact and when to trust.
I couldn't agree more. And this type of loose Cripps, I keep saying it, I feel like he's pigeonholed as this hardball, hard-nosed midfielder. There's a lot more to him. And if you go back and watch that game, particularly that second, third quarter, they had a problem because when Cripps, you could see they'd planned Hewitt and Cripps doing the grunt work, Walsh and Chera. Walsh hardly oscillated in them areas for the first half. And when Cripps was kind of more the loose and Chera and Hewitt were running the midfield, you could see it made it really hard to structure up. And that's a real strong element to Voss's ball there, that he's trusted Hewitt first and foremost, but also trusted Chera and let Cripps not be the guy that does 50 stoppage in contests. Mm-hmm. He's down to 23, 24, which is where you want him because you can sustain that for a whole game, a whole year.
7 score involvements too. I think that's an interesting stat for him as well. When he's getting involved in the chains, we're usually playing well. So 8.1 for the captain. And yes, some of you in the chat have mentioned the coaches' votes. I forgot to mention this when we were talking about Nick Haynes, but Nick Haynes did receive 8 coaches' votes. So Cripps received 5. So there you go.
Very strong.
Ooh, Hewitt. What happened here? This is interesting.
Yeah, so you find that Hewitt was the main man around stoppage, and this was the area here. If you can see he's got a load of yellow in there, but you can see that Carlton deployed something quite funny with George Hewitt this week. George Hewitt was invariably under the ball when the pressure went well. So when the pressure went well and they were trying to clear their lines, Hewitt was now playing as almost that loose around the fall of the ball, which we haven't seen Carlton do. And if you go back to about week 2, one of my complaints was, why do we kick long down the wing and don't have a small guy there? Why aren't you utilising Motlop, using a small to help the tall? We've seen it the last couple of weeks. Durden's done this role. Motlop's done this role. Then George Hewitt came there, and that was quite interesting because they play a guy called Bailey Smith in this role, which makes it incredibly hard because when it's not a small forward, it's a rambustious mid. He destroys small forwards. So this was another good tactical role, and double the loose ball gets we see from George Hewitt. We don't often see this. And you can see this week, Voss had made a strict little thing that it wasn't always going to be Hewitt and Cripps on the ball. It was going to be one of, and he would be complemented by Elijah, Chera, Walsh, whoever it may be, Motlop. And this was a very good little, I've got to give Voss his full props here. The rotations this week, I thought, were very hard to match up on.
You know what I love about George more than anything? I love how much the players love George. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The way they get around him, the way they speak about him in their little media bits, Cripps's face when George kicked the goal, like the genuine joy for him by his teammates. And I think I had a fear about a month ago that they didn't love each other because they just seem so disconnected. So all of a sudden it looks like they've found their love for each other yet again. And it really shows when George is around. They do really get around him.
I think when you play any team sport, it's always fascinating it because I always think, like the times I've played rugby or cricket or football, soccer, as you guys call it, when you ask your teammates who you like playing with, it's never really the star, is it? It's not really the superstar. It's not the one that the fans will say. It's not the one that the parents will say. It's usually the guy that's working fucking his balls off, doesn't ask for a thanks. So I would imagine Hewitt would be your favourite player if I was playing. The guy that won't say much will just do his job.
The Cripps hug to George when he kicked that goal was true love. It was true love. So George, coming off from memory, was it a 9.4 last week? I think.
It was a very big game from him.
Yeah. He gets an 8.4. So we're starting to see some 8s now in the mid.
So this is the first time that our top 3 players that we've had 2 of them with 8s or more, Cripps and Hewitt. So that's a huge improvement. Because you want your guys controlling the tempo. I mean, you've got to remember, Carlton got absolutely battered this week from a statistical point of view in the contest in scoring. So they beat us by +10 in stoppages, which is usually our strength, which I kind of expected it to happen. Full credit to Voss, though, that he really made it hard for them to feast on it. And that was partly by the rotation. So good work by Mr. Voss. Got to give him kudos there.
Well done, George. Then we get to Samuel Walsh. Samuel Walsh running and bouncing the football. It's just pictures in your mind that make you smile.
Yeah, and suddenly we've got our favourite guy playing almost the idea. This is the third week in a row we've had almost a Nick Dacos heat map, which is so exciting because that's where you want him. You don't want him that little dot we saw at the start of the rounds, right in the middle. You don't want this guy on the ball. Way too good, way too clever to be smashing heads. And that was a real strong performance. What we liked about this game was really his ability to link in chains, which you don't often see from Walsh this year. This was a very, almost like his Brownlow year where he had 30 votes, where I think if you watch the game in real time, you wouldn't have noticed Walsh. But I think if you go back and watch it, Walsh is either the second touch in a chain or the penultimate touch. He was the real conduit. So really like this game and a real well-rounded look. If you look at them stats, everything is around where we expect an upper echelon midfielder to be.
Well, the passage of play in the second quarter, where Walsh basically was just receiving handballs, one from, I forget who the first one was, but the second one was from Harry, and then he hits up Fogarty on the lead in the pocket. Like I think that's the vision we all have for Walsh playing at his best.
Yeah, I mean, I think you saw Cripps have a lot more on-ball time, which makes sense this week because you are playing a team that their improvement from stoppage has been astronomical. But what is great to see, first 4 rounds, right? 70%, 68%, 70% on the ball, 59, 47, 47. That is where you want Samuel Walsh. You want him nowhere near on the ball. You want him free. You want him to be the creative guy. Incredible, good coaching by. We keep saying it. I criticised him. I'm using the we vernacular to deny responsibility. Daniel, own it. I was heavily critical in the first 4 rounds that these players were being played in roles that you had other players to do. Just give them one role. Full credit to Voss. In the last 4 weeks, he's cut the shackles, said, Walsh, do not go to the contest. Cripps, stop hogging the contest. We'll spread it out. Full credit, because now that's when talent does come into it. So good work by Walsh. Loved his game.
Yep. 7.3 for Walsh. Adam Chera. Before we start, I did see the notification. I don't know when it happened, but it got suspended. Being given a week after being charged with striking. The incident occurred in the third quarter of Sunday's win over Geelong and was graded as intentional conduct, low impact and high contact. The club has until 11 a.m. tomorrow to respond to the charge. So, okay, great. He's been, not great, but he's been offered a week. We'll get to that in a moment. Let's talk about his game.
Disgrace. Yeah, look, Adam, you'd never condone me asking you to punch someone.
I wonder who was a fan of that.
I'm going to be totally honest. It's my fault because he punched Jack Bowes. He turns around and backhands him in the face, and I was like,
"We are going to the crowd."
And on the watch log, I was like, you got fucking bitch slapped. Take that, Bowes, you cheat." Because
mate, I'm looking at it now. We are going to the appeal stream, guys. Lock it in. There's no way.
I'm really hoping that Peter O'Farrell just plays Pom's thing. Look at Pom. Pom said you don't go down to punches like that. Soft.
Yeah, nah, sorry. He ain't getting a week for that. I'm not copping that. That is rubbish.
Grant, my good friend, the orange numbers you will see on that graph are the upper echelon, the top 40% of players that will play that role or similar, and the blue is what he did this game. Okay, so yeah. Any questions on that? Just ask, and I'll try and take you through it.
Right, but this
So
is
Chesney.
This is similar to
Chesney.
Chris's heat map.
The Chesasaurus Rex. I love Chesney. Ches is becoming one of my faves. I love him. So again, this is another role. So from rounds 1 to 4, we saw 50% on the ball time. And then we saw a massive jump to where now he's oscillating at 79%. It's now his and Hewitt's midfield. And the big dog, Cripper, he's kind of now having the same numbers, ironically, that we saw Adam Chera have in the first 4 rounds. So we're starting to free up our weapon and having, when everyone always says one pace midfield, it's now a tree-paced midfield because you've also got Motlop and Elijah and other midfielders coming in to take the time away from Walsh. So very, very clever coaching. Got to give that. Voss, if you're listening, I criticised you for 4 weeks, giving you praise. It's okay. You're back on the shopping list, right? And what did Adam Chera do? You'll see his AFL rating. He got absolutely panned by the AFL. And why is that? Because AFL rating isn't worth to wipe your bum with. It's purely because we saw a massive decrease in what we've seen in the last 6 weeks from him because he wasn't putting up the sexy numbers. He was putting up more of the rugged numbers. And the numbers I want you to look at are hit-outs gathered 4 times what we would expect a midfielder of his size and ilk to do. So he was heavily under the bus. This was where, usually, in another realm, this was round 1, I would be on here and going, Terry, we've got to stop fucking leaving Cripps and Hewitt so separated. Getting the hard ball. What's fucking Chera's problem? Walsh, let them get the ball. This is why Chera was having to do that role of, right, I'm under the trouble. Some of the things that you don't get stats for, but he was involved in 7 handball chains, and he started them. So that was basically, there's a great passage of play. The first goal we kick in the third, he is it's the first time Atkins gets away from Cripps, and he grabs Chera, and Chera manages to turn his body and hold on long enough to get the handball forward to where TDK's already run. So TDK separated. That was a great game from TDK. We'll come on to him. But he's got the overlap, and Chera managed to use his upper body strength to get the handball forward. If he didn't do that, that was Atkin winning the ball, and they had an outnumber in the back line. So they're the little things Chera does that probably he doesn't get a stat for. Very, very good game from Ches, but obviously wasn't his greatest work, but fair play to him. He was brilliant.
So a 7.2 for Chera. I'm stunned and a little bit rattled that he got a week. Like, I have to be missing something.
It makes no sense because Curtis does a football action, which is 3 weeks. And then the same action Harley Reid did to Nick Watson.
Yeah.
And the AFL have used that as the poster for the week. Don't know if you've seen that.
Man.
But the same tackle that Paul Curtis did, which he's got 3 weeks for, AFL, for their recap of the round, they've used Harley Reid's tackle on the Wizard and praised it as the greatest tackle in AFL history. 2 superstars. And it's like, hang about, one's 3 weeks, one's not.
Oh, man. I cannot wait to be going to the appeal stream tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to it. 7.2. Let's move on. Oh, damn it. Cooper Lord came on as the sub after Williams was subbed out with the calf. What did he do in this game?
Oh, yeah. Like, the vibes have ended. I really feel sorry for this kid because I want to see a full game from him. And he's lucky or he's unlucky that he's getting almost a full game to replace someone that he doesn't play that role. And it is quite sad because, like, last week we really praised him because he got to play a role that he's familiar with. He got a Lidges on ball minutes, didn't he? This week he's coming in for Zach Williams. So, again, playing the mid-forward role. What can we find positive about him? I really enjoyed his work around stoppage. You can see he did the attacking stoppages. like him when the ball's loose. This is a game here that, you know what? Call me crazy. I would love it if Carlton lose Chera. Let's just say Carlton lose Chera. And they just go, tell you what, Coops, go work with Uncle George. You've got Papa Cripps there. He's going to be there to protect you. If we need to have him 90%, let's have him have 90% on ball time. But you're going to get first refusal because they're quite a young, inexperienced midfield. If you look at who they'll come against, probably Isaac Rankine. Now, Isaac Rankine isn't big. He's nippy, but Cooper's got a little bit of pace as well, and he's a very fast reactor. I'd love it if Voss said, you know what, you're going to have the first quarter, you're going to go in there with Uncle George. George is going to protect you. Go out there and show me what you've done. You've worked, you've ate the shit sandwich for 4 weeks. Here's your reward. Show them what they can do. Because that was, ironically, what Chera's doing. The undersized guy that pinces the ball and spreads it was his role. And literally 5 of the Sandringham draftee midfielders were in the top 30. And it's literally Cooper Lord who did it. Cooper Lord did all their hard work.
Okay. That's an interesting insight there. So a 4.6 for his game. As we move along, we get to Oliver Hollands. I was looking forward to doing this one. Big response needed after last week. I think there was a bit of criticism around his ball use. Can never criticize this man's application to the job.
You know what? Look where he's back, ladies and gentlemen. The attacking wing. He's back, baby. Oliver. Come on, lads. Vossy. You've stopped pissing my boy. And Ollie wants the left wing role. Uncle Pom says, I will have words with you, Michael Voss, if I ever see this guy back at halfback. Let him cook. Oliver Hollands, my boy. You know what? Went elite in the wing this week for kicking efficiency. Ollie! Ollie! Where is everyone? Ollie is a halfback flanker. The worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Ollie is a winger. God, it makes me happy. Strong inside 50s, incredible scoreboard involvement as well. And the meters gained. It's only the second time in his career where he's got above AFL average and he was ranked elite for it, meters gained per touch. And the last time that happened, yes, when he played attacking mid. As Tatum's tantrum says, it's almost like if you play players in their best position, they're fucking good. Ollie, what a wingman's role. Honestly, he made Sam Davidson look amateur. That game he did against us, it was like watching Sam Davidson again. And he works so hard defensively as well from that position. I enjoyed this role more than anyone else this year who's played this role. Ollie, he works hard both ways, whereas the other guys don't. So full credit to Ollie.
You know, his level of engagement in this game, like he wants to get hit. Like he's got a bit of, he's got this sickness to him. Like he's a really nice young man, but he is a savage in there.
Mate, I couldn't agree with you more. I couldn't agree. And you know what works as well is he, like this week, the wingers that were scored higher than him, James Harms, kicked 3 goals, had a blinder. Ed Langdon, right? Do you know what I mean? He was ranked the same. He was 0.8 above Lipinski, had better kicking efficiency, more score involvements than Lipinski. And you speak to any Collingwood fan, their most improved player is Lipinski. Mm-hmm. Absolute, honestly, and he works hard defensively. And that's a rare thing. He works hard defensively from that attacking side, which we've complained about when Akers played it. We've complained about it when Lucas Camporelli played it. Brilliant. Like, honestly, please, Vossy, if you do change anything, never stop him here. Because this is why he was a top 10 pick.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just going through it here. 23 possessions, 438 meters gained, 5 inside 50s, 27 pressure acts with 7 tackles and 5 score involvements.
And he was playing the attacking role and he's near led the team in pressure acts and defensive application. So he's worked his tush off while being attacking. Please keep him there.
I love it. 7.4. Hey, Baggers Podcast 25. Thank you very much for the 3. 7.4 for Ollie Hollands. As we move along, we get to the other wing, and that's Blake Acres. So what do we say here?
Yeah, so you can see there 2 patches, and what Voss likes to do quite often is when Sard went central, they offered him more protection with a bigger body of Blake Acres. Blake Acres was very, very poignant in the second half, particularly from the defensive side of things. Pressure act strong, meters gain strong, but again, the effective kicking not like Ollie. Still had that bit of issue. But when he was down the right-hand side, incredibly strong defensively. For me, this is where you play Blake. You want him being more that defensive-sided. He's bigger bodied, he's stronger, he's taller so he can intercept. And, no offence, but when you want someone attacking, it's got to be the younger, zippier, more lively player, Ollie. It was a solid second wingman's role.
Mm-hmm. He got a 6.5 for his game, Blake Acres. Oh, yes. He's becoming my favourite. I love this guy.
Lidge. So Lidge playing high, half forward, almost a winger at times. So you see here that this is the first time that we've had a new position. This is is the attacking mid forward. So this few players play this role, but Terry, there is a player who plays this role. Very, someone that I talk a lot about. He's probably my favourite. I'll give you a clue. Think Matt Cottrell. Last week, phone conversation.
Brian Myers?
No, Cluggage.
Oh, McCluggage. Oh, yes.
And let's have a look at Cluggage. Let's have a look at what Cluggage does. So defense, disposals to turnovers, it's a very dangerous position, this. You're usually getting the ball with very little time to spare, and you've got to try and get the ball moving forward. And he was exactly where he is. Meters gain nearly double per touch what we would expect from this position. Marks where we expect, and incidentally, the players that play this role warp the mark stats. Players like Bailey Fritsch, who work high up the ground, they're genuinely taking uncontested marks. Uncontested possessions, incredible. Only him and Ollie had the uncontested possessions I would expect from wingers. They were dwarfing it from contest. And strong defensively. Ladies and gentlemen, the most underrated player in the league, without a shadow of a doubt, is Hugh McCluggage. Elijah Hollins is the second best draftee I've ever witnessed come through the draft over the Nick Dacos. I'm ready to say it. Elijah's better than Hugh McCluggage. You play him in that role, Terry. He's clean, he's smart, he's quick, he's got a bit of confidence. I'm really glad Voss hasn't pinch hit him on the ball as well.
Yeah.
He's let him stay spread. Real strong game from Lidge. This is where I want. And look at that AFL rating. He's the highest rated on the ground.
Do you know what I love? I mean, I love so much about him. First of all, let's just take a moment to appreciate him coming through the other end of whatever it is happened to him. Because, I mean, obviously, Harry also played the game. Harry kicked his first goal back, which we were kind of robbed of because he got concussed in the West Coast game. So Harry and Elijah both kicked their first goals back after missing for, personal reasons, different situations altogether, but personal reasons nonetheless. This guy, he's got this like sidestep, but handball into space while he moves his body away from where he's handballing it is the best way I can explain it. And it throws everybody off, and no one else in the team can do it but him.
You know an underrated passage of Lidge's game, and I don't think anyone's really mentioned this week, is when he gets the ball, he's constantly talking to the players.
Right.
It's really weird. When you see it, he's constantly dictating traffic, like, come to me, you go there. And I want everyone, after you've watched all the shows you've got this week, because you've got a lot of shows to watch tonight, go and watch quarter 3. He has 6 touches. Just watch how he uses the ball and them impacts there, where there's one great inside 50 he does where he's lined up and he actually sells Lawson Humphries for an absolute hot dog. Lawson Humphries thinks he's going to go deep left, so he goes to shut down that avenue, and he just leans his body and just pops it to the right of Lawson Humphries. He's a gift, honestly. He's one of my favourite players. Like, honestly, I'm telling you, Nick Dacos, Flemington Strait, Elijah Hollands. If you go back and watch any game you can, they're all on YouTube. He was something else. And if we can unlock this, I'm telling you, Elijah will be... He'll win and John Nichols. He's that good.
So, you know my stance on mullets, right?
It's a sexy haircut, though.
He needs to keep the mullet. It's all in sync when he's got the mullet and the shaved sides here. It's perfect. It's perfect.
You know one of the big things about Lidge as well, and we talked about it last week, and people thought I was bullying him, and I wasn't. He's the first person ever to be at the goal. When someone kicks a goal, he's the first person to give the bum tap. Like me and my mate were talking about it a couple of weeks ago, like the bum tap counter. We call it that because I like to give a bum tap when I used to play soccer. Do you know what I mean? I like a little nip of the bum. I like to nip my teammates' bums. Yeah. Elijah would be quite high up on that, touching your teammate's bum. He's there all the time. And I think that's infectious, Terry. Like I know it sounds stupid, but go back and watch Collingwood's game this week. They are so into every little thing you do, someone's praising you for it. And that's what I like about Lidge.
Yeah. You know who speaks about this principle? Steve Nash. Steve Nash was a serial high fiver. Just get some touch, get some connection.
And it's what he does with his brother. There was a passage of play where Elijah got totally wrong-footed, and it was Mr. Oliver who fixed it for him. Oliver chased the guy down, managed to get him out of bounds. And Lidge comes straight away, ruffles his head, gives him a hug. And you could see that Lidge was genuinely saying to him, cheers, Ollie, mate. I needed that. Thanks, mate. He's one of the first, and I think that's incredible because I know Isaac Heaney, Horse, talks about Isaac Heaney, that Heaney will remember the 1%ers more than the goals, right? And that's why they say he's in the leadership group. Heaney's ability that he will remember when a back pocket makes a spoil. He notices that more than the goals. And he said that's why Heaney's such a big team player. He'll come back and go, that spoil you made 37 minutes into the second, world class. And like the guy's like, oh my God, you saw me do that. You're the other end of the ground. I think that's important. I love Lidge. There's something about him. I'm a big fan.
Yep. Tatum's tantrum, mate. Look, it's just a theory I've got about the hair. I'm telling you. You know. Look, I'll give you another reason why it's true. So take this photo, for example. Where is this photo from of him?
It was some point last year.
I reckon he didn't play well in this game. If you can find out which game it was, I reckon he didn't. Because it just wasn't clean here. Also, let me look. This is peak Elijah. Check it out. This is when the hair is on. This
you know what, chat? Look, Terry told me this theory a long time ago, and I was like, he was a fucking idiot. And honestly, the more research I put into it, the more it started coming true. Just see it. So don't fight it, chat. Don't fight it. I'll tell you what game it's from. All right, let's have a look.
Look good, feel good, play good.
Oh dear. Right, go on. We'll carry on with the show, and I'll
where
that picture's from, so I can find out which game.
7.6 for Elijah. Okay. Tom De Koning, the dominant ruck of the competition.
So TDK, this is a real interesting one, right? A really interesting one because we talked about his ability, about the rhythm, right? And it was going to be an issue for TDK. Well, it wasn't going to be an issue, but we said it's going to be one of them things where TDK is going to have to adapt because he did go up against, like, Scott for some reason just can't go out and buy a ruckman, so he plays about 8 giants there, and then complains about it in the press conference. It's like, bro, you cheat the salary cap, just go and buy one, mate. Like, do you know what I mean? You're not paying salary, buy one. But what can we say? 7 score launches, bro.
Wow.
That's insane. You are basically an extra midfielder. Then you look at the ground ball gets. He works hard defensively. I think there's 3 types of ruckman in the league, right? There's Rowan Marshall, who I think is the best attacking ruckman in the league. Mm-hmm. There's Darcy Cameron, who I think is the best defensive ruckman in the league. And then there's Tristan Xerri, who I think is the best big ruckman in the league. And then there's probably Max Gawn, who's the best all-rounder we've probably seen in modern-day football. I think TDK is like a 7 out of 10 on if you ranked them all. He would be like 7/10 of Darcy Cameron, 7/10 of Gawn, 7/10 of Xerri. And you really saw the perfect ruckman game because he adapted when Blitzarves was in the ruck. He engaged early, right? And he was like, look, you're probably about as athletic as me, but what I'll do is we'll fight it on the deck. When it was Reece Stanley, he just went full athlete crazy and was like, try and get me. And then when they did try and mix it up, he made sure he imposed. And he's a very clever player. And no one talks about his ability to roam on. We talked about it with Chera. He roams on. He's now got that stage. Go and watch his second quarter. He leaves as soon as he's done his tap. He's the attacking side. It's almost now like he trusts Cripps, Hewitt, Chera that they'll fix the ground ball. I need to get the other end. And that was really clever by TDK. This week, TDK gave Stanley a masterclass.
Yeah. I love his personality.
The goal. I like the tongue.
Can we keep track of how many times have we seen the tongue? Because I don't think we lose when he does it.
You want a hair start? You want a tongue start? Thank you very much, Mrs. Bomb. Jesus.
We win one game and I lose my mind.
Pretty soon I'll be keeping stats that freaking out about football. But I agree with you, Terry. I mean, you know what? I don't want to read into it, but you know what? It's good to see him enjoy kicking goals because I think if you said to me, high level, criticize Tom de Koning, right? It's probably he doesn't get on the end of enough. I think for someone this clever, he should be kicking goals. And when I look at Rowan Marshall, his ability to get forward and impact, I think, bold call, I think TDK is twice the ruckman of Rowan Marshall.
Yeah. Yeah. He took 2 marks in this game. It's probably the only thing you could find critical about his game, really. Everything else was elite.
It's good for it. So, I mean, like, you look at it, I just think that's the next layer. He's only kicked 0.3 goals this year.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's the next layer. I think he can impact there. Because I see someone saying, I think he could be the best attacking ruckman. I don't think he is yet, Josh. But I agree with you. I think he could be. I feel like that's the next area for him because if he can... That goal's special he kicks.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him just do it a bit more for me. I feel that's the next layer.
8.4 for TDK. He's certainly someone that should never cut his hair. Ever. Then we get to Zach. Oh, man. So disappointing. He started so well. And I didn't see where he actually did the calf. It didn't really show it.
When we watched it, I was because I watch it like on total mute. So chat are my commentary team. They tell me like what I'm missing, and they were all like, "Oh, Pommy's down the rooms," and I'm like, "Is he? He's just kicked a fucking goal?" Did you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and then they showed you the footage, and it looked like he died. Like he was walking like he'd stood on a landmine. yeah, gutting for him, gutting, because you know what? This game threatened to be good. And I really like how he was working hard up the ground. But you can see there, though, look, a lot of them numbers, he'd already, for the time, done what we'd expect a small forward to do. So small forwards are interesting. We expect them to get 50% of what you're seeing on screen, just of them stats you see, at least AFL average. And you can see that he's nearly completed that task.
It's just disappointing. It just is. Obviously, the rating's hard to come up with because we didn't see him. LS, a question for the BA show. Okay, maybe we can consider this for later, but yeah, one of his biggest defenders, Zach's body's becoming a liability. 49 out of 102 possible games, has been subbed 9 times. Would hate this to cost us in a big final. Is it time to move on? I don't know how to answer that question right now. This may be something for an end of season.
I can give you some good news, though. You're about to get some good news of what Zach Williams' injury did. LS, my brother. Don't worry. Uncle Pom's here to make you happy.
What do you got?
Oh, if you keep going, I'll show you him.
Oh. All right, so 4.7 for Zach. Lockie Fogarty. Is that what you mean?
No, we're coming up to him, but we'll talk about how that injury affected. So we did see that the person who was going to be heavily affected by Zach going is, we saw last week, Voss swing Zach on the ball a few times with Motlop. So Motlop had to take that predominant work. But because one person was always leaving the forward 50, it really requires the rest of them to stay there. And one of them was Will White, who had a very good game, literally been told no defensive responsibility. And I think he thrives in it. But one guy I want to talk about, I have been on this guy's ass for about 6 weeks because I am sick of seeing this guy getting into the right positions and giving it to his mates. And the last couple of weeks, we've seen his score involvements be above, no goals. Finally, just have a shot, bro. And then it's amazing, isn't it? They're a bit like strikers, small forwards. Once they score one, they score two.
Yeah.
He gets in the right positions. Like, I want to see more of this. Have the shot, bro. Have it. Because I don't think he's a bad kick for goal. He gets in some great positions. The way that he did his job as well, he played the Chincotta role on Tom Stewart for a lot of the game, which, amazingly, we saw Chincotta have a blinder that week as well. This was a real strong performance aerially as well from him, but also his work rate. I really like Fogarty, and it was good to see him this week have the shots. Just go for it. It was good to see not a pure defensive role from him. Have a shot.
Yeah.
Go for it. Don't give it out.
Well, he was, I can't remember his score, but I think he was one of the really poor performers from last week.
Yeah.
There weren't too many. And it was just one of those games. I think a lot of us in the chat were saying, like, has to respond next week, like, have to find something. And I'm glad he did. And he got the passion back, the goal, the energy he fed from the crowd. Still had the
it
5
was funny as well. If you actually watch Will White, he goes to dish off his first goal to Will White when he marks it, and Will White's like that. And I was like, that shows real good teamwork because Will White wants goals. He's a new kid. I'd imagine he wants to kick snags. But that said to me, incredible team there that Will White could recognise. Nah, you do it. You did it. You won it. You do it. I'll get my... That showed good camaraderie. I like a bit of camaraderie, but great game. Defensively strong as we expect, but offensively strong.
Also a great communicator out there too is the Fog. 7.8. That would have to be his biggest score of the year.
It's his biggest score ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit. Okay. There you go. Well done. Then we get to Will White, the young man. Jeez. Who?
Mate, look, tell you what, you can keep your hand taps when that guy shows me the fucking monogram. That monogram's him.
Yeah,
innit?
Man.
That celebration, hook it to my veins. What can we say about Will White? Well, the injury with Williams, you can see, has massively affected his AFL rating. And why is that? Well, it's because basically Zach Williams has basically been told don't do anything defensively. He's like almost the Cyril Rioli of this team. Just enjoy what you want. Right? Just enjoy, just do what you've got to do. Just hang around there. And this is Will White's game. Will White, if you don't give him defensive responsibility, he gets in them dangerous areas. Took his goal well. And you know what I love? The opposite of what I can say about Fogarty. This guy just shoots on sight.
Yep. Instinct.
And you know what? I hope Voss doesn't say, don't be selfish. I hope Voss encourages it because he invariably kicks a goal when he has it. This was real good. And you know what? With Zach Williams being out, I'm not actually majorly concerned. I agree with LS. I think he's important. I think he's got a bit of a Jack Martin about him, Zach Williams, that this structure is heavily dependent on Zach Williams. But I think Will White can ease that pain because I do think he's good. If you just set him in there and say, have a bit of fun, bro, he'll have a bit of fun.
Yep. Still had the 7 score involvement. So just looking at your graph here, so the AFL average has matched Will White's output here. So the AFL average, is that right? Am I reading that right?
Which start are you looking at?
So score involvements here, the orange bar and the blue bar, like are even at 7. So
Yeah.
does that mean he average? So the AFL average for this position is 7 score involvements.
Yeah. So for the pure-sided attacking forward, he's just there to do nothing else but, Terry, make goals, score goals.
Love it. 6.1 for young Will White. Man, the veins were popping out of his face when he kicked his goal.
Yeah, mate. It meant
pure.
something.
It's pure.
It meant something. You know what I like about him as well is you can tell it's also out there.
Yeah. It's true.
Like, you can tell he wants it.
Yeah. All right. Moving along. Matthew Cottrell. Cots. That looks a bit... he's owned this part of the ground the last few weeks now.
It is, and you'll notice that there's only a few little touches there, and he's way down on all the data points. Mm-hmm. If the good people of this chat watch my preview, we pointed out that the most important player on their team this year has been Sean Manor. And for the first half, this guy was following Sean Manor around. And there's a reason why that's important. Sean Manor is their outlet ball, and Elijah became Carlton's outlet ball this week. And then once the game was iced and Sean Manor really couldn't do much, he went back to his native role of helping out on the wing and across half forward. But you'll see that whole row of blue dots on the left-hand side as he was literally tracking the wing to half forward run that Sean Manor does. And what I love about Cottrell is, see what I said about Will White. When he sees an opportunity to bang it inside 50, bangs it inside 50. Sometimes you've just got to get it in the mixer. And I really like that from Will. I feel like Akers at the minute, this week particularly, he was struggling to trust himself to kick it inside 50, which says to me he knows he's having kicking issues. I love the fact that Matt Carroll can absolutely shank one, and the next time he beats the man, it's going in 50. You've got to keep doing it. And solid game. But I did enjoy the run with role that he did. It was very nice to watch.
Yep. So he gets a 6.1. Then we get to Corey Durden. Young Corey Durden, mate. It's just starting to tick along, this young lad.
I feel sorry for Cody Walker.
Why?
Because he's never going to be allowed to call Skywalker. Because we've got our own one here. This guy just climbing over the back of people for bants. I mean, he used Lawson he thought Lawson Humphreys was a fucking stepladder.
No, it was Sam de Koning, mate.
Sorry, Sam de Koning. Sorry, they all look the same down their back line.
Yeah, he had a real presence about him in the first half in particular with his defensive pressure.
Yeah, and you know what was really strong about him, and this is what I keep saying, this is why I don't like the fog roll we saw, particularly in the first 4 rounds and last week. I feel like the way that Carlton are playing, you can do both. And again, double the amount, well, triple actually, the amount of inside 50 tackles we do, because most people spread it over. He had 3 crumbs, 4 times, twice as much. Sorry.
Stat. That's something we've been highlighting for years.
And this is what we talked about. You see at the top of the show when we came to the forwards, I said, you're looking at half of these stats because there's so many. We just show you the most important ones. Half of these need to be AFL average. Well, look, goal assists, he's clocked. Crumbs above. Tackles inside 50 above. Scores, shots at goal above. You know what I mean? Score involvement slightly down, but the marks inside 50 and the inside 50 is all above or double where he should be. Real strong by Corey Durden. I really enjoy what he's doing. And you know what I like as well about him is he never gives up. There were so many times that Lawson Humphreys got into the game, started to get into it in the 4th quarter, and Corey is hauling ass trying to just close that down. And it's selfless. And please stay fit, because I think by Flemington, he is our best small forward.
Yeah. It's, look, bit of continuity is all he needs. He gets a 6.4. Is this the emergence of him? He's about to play at Adelaide. He's going back home state, home crowd. Has no fear of the Adelaide Oval. One more good one in a row now, and then he gets himself rolling. So that
Corey Durden, to be fair, he's always one bad game away from being absolutely lambasted by the fan base. So keep it up, Corey. Fucking Jesus, bro. It's a matter of time. But no, you know what I like about him is if he kicked 0 goals this week against Geelong, I still love the game. And that's back to my point. You can't just play a pure defensive forward. They're capable of doing both. And Corey Durden proved that. He can defend. He can kick goals.
Okay.
Trust him.
6.4. Corey Durden. Then we get to his mate, Jesse Motlop. Keep in mind, I did make a note last week to remember both Durden and Motlop's rating. So we've done Durds. What about Mott's? This was not a small forwards game.
This here is so annoying because I watched the game 3 times now. And the 3rd time, I just thought, you know what? I'm going to look where the mosquito is, where the Moz dog is. And it's so hard. This is a Nick Haynes versus Dogs game, in my opinion. It's like, if only that came off, we're flopping it out live on TV saying, oh my God, we've got the best small forwards in the league. And it's so there, and there's so many things he does slightly wrong. Like the 2 times he got caught, I keep watching the first time and I'm screaming at him, kick it, Mott, kick it, Mott! And he never kicks it. Every time I've watched the replay, I've screamed at him. But it's the right thing to do. And I'll back this up. Go and watch Isaac Rankine in Adelaide, who plays this role as the diminutive midfielder around stoppage. It's just creating that awareness. But go back and watch Rankine last year, where the guy was just a sitting duck. He'd get the ball and go, I'm just going to spin round in a circle. I don't mind persevering with this. I'm not as harsh on this guy as anyone else because I feel like he's getting in the right areas. He's trying the right things. It's just not coming off yet. And it will do.
It will. It'll happen. I'm with you. It will happen. It did not happen in this game, but it will happen.
It actually pisses me off, this game. Yeah, Jai, that's what I kept saying to him. It's yellow and egg shaped. Just kick the fucking thing, Jesse. It's so close that I watched it back the 3rd time and it's I bet. What's annoying is you've seen that Nick Newman bit that he does with Dean. I reckon if you did that with if you were with Motlop now and Uncle Pam sat him on his lap and goes, we're going to watch all the things you did wrong today. You know what would annoy me is I reckon he would go, oh, Pop, you know what I should have done? I should have given it off to Walsh and then ran on. Or he might have said, I should have just put my foot through it. And I'll be like, fuck, you're annoying because if you'd done that, it's probably a 9. It's that close with Motlop. So I think he needs a bit of TLC. I don't often ask the chat to do this. I just think next week, just give him some fucking love.
Yeah, I think so too.
Live, as soon as he does something wrong, there is a load of comments. He's a fucking hack. He's useless. Delist him. I'd rather see. Someone said they'd rather see Francis Evans, and I replied, I'd rather fucking see my ex. But like honestly, he just feels like he's so close. He just needs it. He needs a game, and I think, call me bold, we're going to do this next week. 7.5 for Jesse Motlob, and he's going to fucking batter ranking.
I'm totally with you on it. I don't remember when I said it. I think it might have been a preseason game or it was round one. I remember making the comment and thinking that he found a balance, and there was a contest. It's lost me, but I remember saying it and thinking it like, wow, he looks more balanced on his feet. He's not going to ground. There was a passage of play against the Cats. I think it was the second quarter. He ran onto it and he just went to ground. I'm like, oh, he didn't have that earlier. He just didn't go to ground earlier in the season.
Yeah, I watched the fourth quarter and he's like, I love that he's trying to win the ball, but there's a few times that he slides to try and get the ball on the deck. And I'm thinking, I'm sure the coaches pull him one side and say, Cripps is there, Walsh is there. They're experts. Make some space. Make some space for yourself. You don't have to go in. It feels like he's trying too hard. Like, my impression, I did a golf lesson last week and there was a young kid, God bless him, but he's thinking about it way too much. And I kept saying to him, stop fucking thinking about it. Like, if you've practiced, it'll happen. Just do. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's what he's doing. He's like, I just really need to win this ball. And he just needs to play it. Because this is a new game. So, like, it's not a small forwards game. This is a new role. New role for him. So he needs a bit of time.
Mm-hmm. So a 3.8 for Jesse. It's a persist job. I'm with you. Then we get to Charlie. Oh, we're still on the forward line. Charlie Curnow. Oh, it's back.
He's back.
Oh wow.
Hey, yeah. You're back, baby.
He is back.
This is Charlie Curnow, innit? Like, honestly, like, you know what? I'm going to tell you, right? There's two things Jeremy Cameron does that Charlie Curnow's never done in his life, right? One of them being beaten by Jack Silvani. I guarantee you right now, Jack Silvani has not got within an iota of Charlie Curnow in training. And number two is not many people can balls up inside 50s like Jeremy Cameron. When this guy hits an inside 50, it stays kicked genuinely at goal. This was honestly the foil work between Harry Mackay and Mr. Curnow this week was a delight because Mackay played the young role with a bit of rooking to perfection, but stayed full forward, and Charlie was allowed to play up the ground from that centre-half forward position, creating that separation. You saw how it caused chaos with their zone. Their zone could not handle it, and Geelong's zone is incredible. One-on-one wins, won all of them this week. Marks, really massive, contested marks. This is an understated part of his game that he works incredibly hard on that. And then his accuracy at goal, very strong, but also his selflessness.
Yeah.
Like, we criticize Fogarty for being too selfless. I don't think Charlie Curnow gets enough credit for a man of his capabilities. Go back and watch Charlie Cameron. How many times he burnt his mates through his own ego? And then go and watch Charlie in his situation. He's giving it out. He's going team first. This was my favourite game I've seen Charlie Curnow play for a long time.
Yeah, the selflessness is a big feature of his game this week, and it has been for a couple of weeks. I believe it. Like, he doesn't really care about the Coleman. I mean, he's got two of them. I can see a guy that's bought into the team. Anytime he speaks in media, he loves talking about other people before he talks about himself. He's always had that about him. I think so. He leaves the goal for Zach Williams, and then I think the other one might have been Patrick Cripps kicked it to him. He left it. Probably should have marked that one. That'll just come with time. Footy's got a funny way of rewarding the selfless players, and I think his time will come. But yeah, I'm enjoying this selfless version of him.
It was funny. Great mate of mine, my ex-boss, it's the reason I nearly was a Geelong fan. And we were talking, and he was like, he literally said to me, I'd swap Cameron for Kerner. Because my mate was pissed that he just kept burning the forwards. There was a few times in that second when the game was there to be won. Jeremy's taken it upon himself to be the main man. To be the main man. And you saw that this week with Charlie. Charlie's quite happy to do what he needs to do. Do you know what I mean? Help his mates.
Yeah. Loves his mates. Gets a 7.5 for his game. Then we get to the other big fella. Wow, this guy's lit up the MCG, man. Harry, with a smile on his face.
21% at the time that Carlton needed a ruck, which it's higher around the ground than it was Lewis Young. So Lewis Young last week was 21% centre bounces, 2% stoppages. This week, Harry was 17 centre bounces, 23 around the ground percent at the time. So you think that's why you're seeing the sparse, right? But I want to see that orange thing, right? That big orange one at full forward. This was his starting position. This was Lewis Young. So the difference we've got this week is we've got a bit more ruck out of him. But like we talked about Lewis last week, working up the ground when he needed to be that second cog, deeper than usually that's at halfback, that red zone. But then he full forward, so you've got that separation. When forwards are like that and they're leading like this corridor, I call it the corridor of uncertainty. That's where small forwards work in this area. And it's no surprise that our small forwards are feeding. This was a great game. And you know what? Nothing better than seeing this guy kick decisive goals. Great to see.
There's a few elements to this story. So firstly, gets his game back after what he's been through. Plays with a fractured cheekbone in 4 places, I believe, is the story. He just grows with confidence as he goes, and he doesn't show it too often, but he showed a bit of emotion when he kicked a couple of his goals and the fist pump. And I'll just let you all in on a little secret. Harry is going to be on the thumbnails this week for the Crows game. I was just so relieved for him. And I think that moment in the game, second half, where he gets the free kick for in the back and the whole stadium's booing at him, and then the Carlton fans roar and it just uplifts. I had goosebumps in the moment. And I think that is exactly what was needed from the supporters. And I like that the club talked about it. I like that Vossi identified it, because most of the social media world will point to the fact that, Carlton fans, like Georgie Parker, for example, wrote an article about how bad Carlton fans are. But I don't know if we're going to see an article from Georgie Parker this week about how great the Carlton fans were upon Harry's arrival. So, yeah, it was great.
You know what? I feel for him, because him and Motlop are two people that I notice quite a lot in live streams. And I'm sure the chat will agree with me, because 90% of you are in there with me. He cops way too much hate. He cops way too much. When he misses, I felt that first miss he had. I felt it reading the comments. And I was like, if that's what's been said in a chat group, imagine what's gone through his head. Because it's an amazing thing in life when you're down. You know what? I never forget my brother, God rest his soul. He said to me, "You can't hurt me. I already hurt myself."
Yeah.
And that always stuck with me as I've got older, that when you do feel down, nothing no one can say to you is as bad as what you say to yourself. And that was a big moment, man, because you know what? He could have pulled that kick again, but he took the kick and he nailed it through. But you're looking at probably the most complete one-on-one marker in the league. And you know what was good? And I agree, Stewson. Brilliant segue. Hey, mate, we're like Charlie Kerner and Harry, you and me. This week, a little bit of fucking dickhead in him. Because I said to you on the phone, Terry, I know he was going through a rough time. I would be saying to him, take it out on other twats. You know, the best you have got, like Harry's got the luxury here that he does a profession where he can legally hurt someone with aggression in a fair way and not face reprimand. I would be like this.
Yeah.
I would have said to him before the game, mate, all the struggles, all the annoyance, minute Lawson Humphries gets the ball, tackle him fairly, but let it all out in him. Play with that.
Man.
Play with that hate.
Dominate.
And you know what? There was he looked like he was out there, man. He looked like he was out there to prove a point, not to himself, not to the world, but I think to his heart that he is the man. And you know what? So proud of him, man. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care if next week he kicks 0-4. Couldn't give a shit. He did it when we needed him to this week. And he's obviously still going through stuff. I think people forget just because he's back at work doesn't mean this guy is fucking Julie Andrews in fucking a movie going, I feel pretty. He's probably still fucking struggling as well. Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's not Sound of Music. He probably feels the same. Do you know what I mean? He probably still has.
Listen, man, it's a journey. It's a journey. So, look, stoked for him. He gets an 8.4 for his game, which is great. And that concludes the team. So now it's time to look at the entire picture. I'm excited for this.
And that concludes the draw for the 4th round of the FA Cup.
Okay, first reaction, first thoughts, chat, when you see this. What do you think of?
Right, so chat, let's play a game. If you remember, these ratings are the top 40%. So that is what? 1.8, 2.6, 4, 5. So basically, if your whole team's green, you're 5th. Do you know what I mean? And how we've worked that out, sorry, you're 7th. 1.8 times 4 is 7.2. So it's roughly, you're looking at a top 8 side. Right? So that's if you were 6.5. So if you round that out, roughly, I would say that's about 6.8, 6.9. So what? We'll give them 6th. Very strong there. Very strong, well-rounded performance from the boys.
Oh, it actually reminded me of something. I can't remember who it was. Someone wrote a comment on last week's show, which I forgot to bring to your attention for this week. Maybe not for every player, but maybe we could highlight who's the hottest player over the last 3 weeks with like a rolling 3-week average to see who's in form.
Talking about hair again?
No, we're talking about just the players based off their ratings over the last, like they're rolling.
Okay, so you want like, how about, look, I like to work in the last 5. How about I will add a start rolling last 5 game rating?
All right. I like it.
Okay. I've added that to my POM notes. Okay. So I will, my POM notes, my potes.
My potes. All right. So what we'll do now is we'll take a look at some of the Geelong players that you've identified, and you can explain why you've identified them. We'll start with Baz Lenka. Wait, why did we boo him? Can I just ask? It started in the second quarter, and I don't know what he did. Why did we boo him? What was the like? I didn't get it. I missed something.
Yeah, look, you're asking the wrong person because every week I see someone go, "Oh, it's not right. They're being booed," and like I'm there, like fuck me. Being booed is the worst thing that's happened to you today. Where do I sign up? I don't know. I mean, I always take it from a soccer mentality. I'll sing offensive songs about you because you're a good player. Or you're a complete tit. But it won't be because you're average. If you're just average, I won't get angry with you. So I always see it as an honour. Maybe I'm wrong. I see it as an honour. It's because we know you're a good player. I don't think it offends Bailey. I think if anything, he reminds me of Frank Lampard when they used to sing songs about his mum.
Yeah.
Like when he got angry, he got better. So the best way was just to applaud him. If you wound him up a bit too much, he would have a good game. So, yeah, I mean, Bailey's game. Bailey's a real interesting customer, I think. And you look at here, Bailey had to adapt. And we saw him play quite a defensive role. As you can see there, look. round stoppage, this was the extra they brought round, and it didn't work. Carlton really negated this well because Atkins couldn't get his boost. But I wanted to highlight the fact he found a way to impact. Even though it didn't get the job done, he found a way to impact, and it's a good lesson for our boys to watch, that sometimes you might not have the game your way, but 9 times out of 10 you'll get a chance. And he took his chance well, didn't he? I like Bailey.
I love him. I absolutely love him. I think Geelong has needed a player like him for a while. So I'm a big fan. 7.4. And the other player you've got here is Lawson Humphreys. What stood out for you about Lawson Humphreys?
This was a tough game, this one for the Loss dog. And he's one of my favourite players to watch. And we talk about Carlton's evolution of the midfield. Massive evolution in the midfield, in the back line for these guys. A huge evolution. They're starting to share the wealth a little bit. They're starting to do other things, like he's starting to exit the ball out of D50. I love the way he stuck to his task at hand. And there was a few times, one criticism of Carlton is sometimes we leave ourselves open to that kick over the top. And there was quite a few times this week that Lawson got the freedom to take that kick and he nailed it. And that will be something I think in the review tape from the Blues, Voss will look at and go, okay, we've got to watch that. But ultimately, they handled him pretty well, I thought.
Yep. So he got a 7.3 for his game. And then, what's this?
So it's a 3-way tie, you'll see. 3-way tie for player of the game. 3 8.5s. Harry Mackay, Tom de Koning, and George Hewitt.
Okay. Happy with that.
And
happy with that.
There's more slides. Wait, for some reason, StreamYard has cut them off. So there you play your game, and then we've got the 2 most important ones, right? Your main riser, you dirty dogs. But here you are. So here's your next one.
Yep.
I hate this app, honestly. StreamYard, just make my life easier.
Yeah. I'll delete the old ones.
No, I've done it.
You've done it.
I've added it. So there you are. They should all be there now in any order you want, Terry.
Well, there's your main riser. That's your main riser from last week. Is that right? Yeah.
So Ollie, he was second. Only second place was his brother, Lidge. If you remember last week, my statement, it might be the worst performance I've ever seen from brothers combined.
From what, sorry? Oh.
Worst performance I've ever seen combined from a pair of brothers, because they were both shocking. They were 1 and 2 this week. So you know what? The Hollands brothers coming back, eh?
Yeah.
And are you ready? The biggest shock. Nick Haynes says, "Fuck you, Sauce. There's still life in the dog."
Yeah. Mate, you watch. It's the second coming of Nick Haynes. He's ready.
Nick Haynes took it personally when I said we need to rename this award the Horizon Finance JSOS Award. But Here he is. Nick Haynes has said, "Dear."
Wow, 7%. It's huge, man.
Hey, go on, Nick. Go on, Nick. Take it. Take it, son. Catch the jack.
Can I make one request for next week?
What?
Can we update his photo to his new hairstyle?
I can tell you if we can do that. Well, we should be able to. You know what's really hard is the AFL, when they take official photos of players, they completely dog certain players, Terry.
They do.
Have you noticed this?
They do. Yes, I have. Trust me.
Like there's 23 blokes out there on the field per game, and they condense all the photos to the same 4 buggers. Like, help them out. Here, Terry, look, you know what? I'll do you a solid. Right? What about if I change it to, look at this, real time with Pom and Terry. You don't get
No
this
way.
at any other show. You know what I mean? Overworked, underpaid. I am.
There's no way you're about to change this right now in time.
I just need to find where his bloody template is. There he is, right. Pain in the bum. I hate.
So,
Here you are,
well,
look. There we are. All changed and about to be uploaded to.
like that Blues AFL. That's the photo. He's actually nailed the hair. He's nailed it.
What?
Nick Haynes. He's nailed the style. I just think it's great. It's this one.
Is it definitely the hair? Are we all convinced now it's the hair?
Absolutely, we are. Is that going to work?
You ready?
Yeah.
Just for you.
Just for me. Oh, yes. Yes, man. I'm telling you. Look at it, Pom.
He definitely looks like he's on The Bachelor, doesn't he? No.
As in, he now has the Carlton look about him. You know, he's never looked like this. He just had to shed the last bit of his skin. He had the GWS, the man bun, like just chop it off. Get rid of it.
You know what? He's got a chin that could open a can of beans, hasn't he? That is chiseled.
It does bring out his jawline too. That's a good call.
He's a good looking rooster, isn't he? But yeah, mate, they are like he's got his proper hair now. He's got his proper hair. Anything you want? Hey Terry, look, I'm a man here that tries to please the masses. If you're happy, I'm happy.
Let the record show we will take note of Nick Haynes' averages from this game onwards, and we'll say from when he cut his hair onwards. I'm happy to start again with Nick Haynes.
Mate, look, he's good, isn't he? He's on the tongue count as well. Well, you know what? Actually, when I was going through that picture of Nick Haynes, I did find a tongue picture of TDK. I was like, oh, we could just do it all, couldn't we? Just have a total rebrand of this show.
So, oh man, that's so unfortunate. The show comes to an end. That was fun, man.
Mate, it was, wasn't it? It's easier doing this when we win, to be fair.
Yeah,
like,
man.
if the boys can do anything, like, can they just keep winning? Because it makes it easier to do this show.
Yeah, as in, it's like, I don't want to be angry at them or mad at them. I don't want to sack all of them.
Like, just be half decent so we can do this show for fun.
Yeah, be half decent so we can at least like get sucked in. Like, don't be completely shit.
You know what? I know we're good that you're back worrying about the players' hairstyles. Like, if ever you were wondering, are Carlton back? Terry is now finding something else to worry about.
Oh,
Do you know what I mean? Their barber's appointments are now literally the most important thing.
It's true, man. Look good, feel good, play good. So that concludes the show. Hey guys, on the way out, there's a link pinned to the top of the live chat. It is Horizon Finance Group. It's the Instagram page for Horizon Finance Group. On your way out, please go to their Instagram page and hit the follow button. If you have any finance requests, if you're looking at obtaining finance, if you want to get a credit score check, get in touch with Nick. Tell him you've come from the show. He will look after you. And he's a great Carlton man. And he will also be on the team selection show on the Pommy and Oz YouTube channel every week.
He is, yeah. I mean, he's one of you, chat. He is the you of our show. He is the guy that gives the fans' opinion. No stats with Nick. He just comes in and says what he feels. Been a great addition. He is quite, to be fair, he's quite funny. Just don't tell him I said that. Don't clip this and send it to him. He is quite amusing, I've got to say. Good anecdotes from him. Good banter. And he's coming out of his shell as well. He's old Nick. he's given me a bit of shit the last 2 weeks. So yeah.
Yeah. Not sure if Nick or Will White.
Yeah, well, I mean, I still tease him about that because he thought I made Will White up when I selected him for my team round 2. So I keep teasing him. He literally thought it was a bit of pom banter, and I'm like, he's a legitimate player, mate. What are you on about? Like, I've just got so angry with the club, I'm starting to just put random names in my team.
Fucking hell. All right. Pommy, thank you very much. As always, we will see you soon. Guys, 7 p.m. Blue Abroad show. Catch ya.
Peace.